What would you do if your parents decided to leave 100% of their house and life savings to your older sister, but legally forced you to handle all the medical and financial stress of their old age? Well, that's the nightmare I'm dealing with right now. I'm a 27-year-old female, and I have an older sister who is 35. Growing up, my parents were always very big on independence and responsibility. They made it crystal clear that once we became adults, we were expected to handle our own lives. I really took that to heart. I worked through college, lived with roommates to keep my expenses down, and built everything for myself step by step without asking them for a single help. It wasn't always easy, but I'm genuinely proud of where I've ended up. I have a stable career now, I'm in a good relationship, and for the first time in a long time, my life feels steady. But my sister's path has been very different. She's never really been able to get fully settled. She has tried a few different jobs over the years, but nothing has really stuck. There always seems to be some new issue, some reason it doesn't work out. My parents have stepped in over and over again, helping her with rent, paying bills when she gets behind, and giving her money to help her make it through the month. For a long time, I told myself it wasn't worth keeping score. I figured maybe that was just how families were supposed to work, helping the person who needed it more. But a few days ago, when we all got together this summer, they brought up something that really threw me off. My parents asked to speak to both of us about their future plans. They're getting older and their health hasn't been great, so they've started putting things in order legally. During that conversation, they told us that most of what they have, including the house and their savings, will go to my sister. Their reasoning was that she won't be able to manage on her own without that support. Then, almost immediately after saying that, they told me they want me to be the one handling everything else. Medical decisions, finances, paperwork, basically making sure everything is taken care of if something happens to them. I don't think I've ever felt that kind of quiet resentment before. It wasn't even really about the money. It was the feeling that I've spent my whole adult life proving I can stand on my own, and somehow that has turned into me being expected to carry everyone else too. I tried to explain how hurtful that felt, but they kept telling me I should be more understanding. Since then, something in me has shifted. I don't call as often. I don't jump in to help the way I used to. When my dad asked me to come over and help sort through some documents last week, I told him I couldn't and that maybe my sister should start taking on some of that responsibility. That didn't go over well. My sister called me afterward, sounding uncomfortable and apologizing, even though none of this is really her fault. I told her I wasn't angry at her. I was hurt by the way our parents are treating us differently. Now everything feels tense. Every interaction feels careful and strained. Everyone online told me that my parents are basically telling me to do all the work and then letting my sister take all the money and property. And it won't even end there, because once my sister blows through that money and can't afford the house, I'll be forced to help her out of that mess too. They said my parents created a monster not really capable of surviving on her own, and they're setting me up to be her parent once they're gone. So the next day, after reading through all the advice, I realized the sooner I step back from this situation, the better it would be for me. I called my parents today and tried to explain how I felt. Part of me still hoped they might understand, even though I knew they probably wouldn't. I gave specific examples, how I've supported myself since college and never asked them for financial help, while they've consistently stepped in for my sister when she struggled. I brought up the estate conversation too. It hurt to hear that most of what they have will go to her because she needs it more, while I'm expected to take on all the responsibility, medical decisions, finances, and paperwork when things get difficult. It made me feel like my role in the family is based on what I can handle, not how I'm valued as their child. They didn't really let me finish. They kept interrupting and repeating that I'm independent and capable and that my sister isn't. So this is just how it has to be. When I said it still felt unfair, they got defensive and told me not to expect anything from them. At one point, they even said that if I truly cared, I should be helping more with my mom's care. That was the point where something clicked for me. Being capable doesn't mean I don't have limits, and it doesn't mean I should carry everything. I told them I couldn't accept a situation where I'm excluded from support but expected to take on all the responsibility. I said they should completely remove me from their will and any roles like executor or medical power of attorney. I don't want anything from them, financially or otherwise. I also told them they should plan accordingly, whether that means hiring help or making other arrangements, because I'm no longer willing to take that on. The call ended badly. There was a lot of yelling and crying, and I eventually hung up. But afterward, I felt something I hadn't felt in a while. Relief. Like a weight I didn't even fully realize I was carrying is finally gone. I have a good life. I have a supportive partner, a stable home, and I'm preparing to start my PhD. We're even talking about starting a family. For the first time, I feel like I can focus on my own future without this constant sense of obligation hanging over me. I don't know what happens next with my parents, and I'm sure things will stay tense for a while, but for now, I feel at peace with the boundary I set.